Nothing they do is going to fully restore my health. I am ate up with parasites, and they are using nanotechnology. To many people that have never heard of all of this, it sounds like sci-fi craziness. But even our own government, this stuff is not classified. It can all be looked up. The own government's energy weapons program, their own website is non-classified. When you have a deputy sheriff that ran a drug investigation against you, and he got pissed within that drug investigation, and he decided to use his powers, because he used to be in the Air Force. He decided to use his connections within the Air Force, the military, and basically created so much hell. What kind of hell am I talking about? I'm talking about being labeled as a terrorist when I'm a true patriot. I'm talking about being a Christian, but yet I've got rumors floating around that I'm dabbling in witchcraft, that I'm a Satanist. So my belief system in Jesus Christ was challenged. I tried to go to church. I was tortured with these remote neuro monitoring weapons that can remotely hack your brain waves. They can also use drones, satellites to cause pain. They can use ground weapons. They can use police, military tactical weapons. And all this is to what? Fight the war on drugs? Or is it to use illegal surveillance to peep into housewives' homes, to run your own illegal sex trafficking network? And most people think, what do you mean you were sex trafficked? You weren't locked in a dungeon, locked away. Well, I think there needs to be redefinitions of laws. New laws passed. New definitions on the books explaining the modern ways that they're doing this. Because they can hack into your Wi-Fi and they can digitally sex traffic you with their surveillance. Think of airport security. Instead of the pat down, you go through the little circular tube, and how well it sees you. They can place that in adjacent apartments. They can run underground wiring, radar. They can see everything within your home, underground, above you, using satellite, drones. And then they use your cable box, put things in your TV, that your TV becomes a monitor, put things in your download viruses onto your phone. I mean, as I'm shooting this video, they're watching me. They're listening to me through my camera of the phone and then within my home. This has been going on all my life. I was born into this program. But it's like other sheriffs had a certain amount of respect that it was like, okay, that's enough. But this Sheriff David Morgan, I guess coming from the military, the Air Force, thinking and dressing himself like he's some 4-star general, and his ego being just a little bit too big and him being just a little bit too brazen, he just thought he could push the envelope just a little bit harder. There's so much that I could tell that has happened within this that it is unreal. Stories that would blow people's minds. I am a true targeted individual. My family has been targeted by this technology. I remember my stepmother, Cindy Phillips, telling me, I can take you out to my car and show you where they've bugged it. They have my house bugged. They're following me to my doctor's appointment, to church. I feel fine when I'm at church, but when I'm at home, my head just goes shoo, shoo, shoo. And she was explaining the directed energy weapons, the remote neuromonitoring that they were doing, the weapons that were being used against her mind. And now all of a sudden, so my dad has told my biological mother, upon her running into him at Walgreens in Atmore, Alabama, my father, I don't have any contact with my father or my stepmother now. But my dad tells my mother, his ex-wife, that they've had my stepmom in and out of rehab, that she's had a mental breakdown, and that her mind is mush, and that my brother Heath has moved back home to help take care of her. She didn't lie about any of this, and she also told me that they were breaking in and out of her house and moving things around to play games on her. I know my stepmother. She is OCD like me, or like how I used to be, whenever I had the energy to keep my house so perfectly clean. When my stepmom, she is like the epitome of clean. Everything has its rightful place. When she puts something somewhere, she knows where it's at. So whenever she told me that whenever she would put something somewhere and they would come in and they would move it around and they were playing head games, I knew what she was talking about because I was going through the same thing. And I tried to tell her, I'm like, Mom, they're doing the same thing to me. But the way that this program is designed, each family gets so paranoid because you've got so many people coming at you at all sides, and then you think everyone's against you. And what happens is no one trusts anyone, and you just push everybody out. My dad told me one day sitting on the porch, he says, she thinks that you and Jason are trying to put her in jail. I'm trying to put her in jail. And I looked at her. I said, I'm not trying to put you in jail. I'm the one that came to you and told you what was going on. And then you told me what was happening to you. And then she starts telling me about something that she's done. And I'm like, you need to shut up right now. They're listening. They've got surveillance in all of your vehicles on this property. You need to go talk to an attorney. Shut up. I'm giving you the best advice that I can give you, the same advice I was given. Shut up. And then you've got law enforcement that once they find out that you know everything that has went on, they know that you're the one that absolutely has evidence against them. They'll go to other family members to turn on you, to discredit you, for them all to gang up and say, you're crazy, you're this, you're that. Too late for all that. You know, and how does so many family members crack up? I've got a brother who, he was just in the county jail. He was just arrested and let out. His address, transient, homeless. And you've just about got me there. Because I'm trying to get a divorce, trying to get out of a marriage, but yet I've got my stepson involved, his mother, which is my husband's ex-wife, and anything that I post on Facebook to defend myself, she's calling son, son's calling daddy. And then daddy gets on my ass. His daddy gets on my ass, my husband. And I've had so many people judge me about me marrying a sex offender. I want to go on the record and be very, very clear. I did not know the full extent of his past. I had a church here in Pensacola, one of the biggest churches that he was working for, that he had keys to the children's building. They called on his behalf and told the schools, take down your sex offender posters of him. He's okay and there's nothing to worry about. Really? You can do that? I mean, I look back at all of it and it's like, is the church above the law? Is an administrator of a church above the law? I'm seeing religious power, religious corruption, judicial corruption. And the details do matter in your charges. They do matter. But I got the truth 4 weeks ago by an email from his son. And then he was stupid enough, my husband, to admit it all. How did he think I was going to react to that? After 17 years of marriage? How did you think I was going to react? And then what does law enforcement do? They lie and charge me with a DUI because I've had another accident from a seizure, a stroke, or whatever is going on neurologically with my brain. I was under no drugs, was not drinking. Once again, woke up after a blackout. And the only reason that I didn't take the neurologist's advice in August was because I was told I had a mass on my kidney. And it's only 1 grade from being the highest on the scale of danger zone. So that's what scared me the most, and it was causing me the most pain. And I was just hoping that the blackout was just some random thing and it would never happen again and I would be okay. But now I realize how serious this is. And whenever you have law enforcement lying on you and trying to entrap you and playing these games with you, I see now, which now that there's a case involved, a misdemeanor DUI, we all know how that they go to doctors and they play games. The doctors are in on it also. Now that there's a case on the book, it doesn't matter what kind of testing I do. They'll say, oh, she hasn't had any seizures, strokes. There's nothing wrong neurological. She must have been drunk. She must have been on drugs. That's just how dirty they are. But the one thing that I do have in my corner is I didn't just get arrested and start blabbing this shit, excuse my language, about my sheriff. We can go back through my Facebook timeline, and I've been saying this for years. What he's been doing to me, my family, what's been going on with my family. No, I didn't just make this up for my defense to use in my DUI case. Your buddies in law enforcement, your neighborhood watch crew, your confidential informants, your military crew, your security companies have been stalking the shit out of me. They've been harassing the hell out of me. And there's been times that the highways, they box you in on the highway. So most of the time, whoever you have riding beside you, it's someone in that surveillance team. When I had my car accident August the 15th, I remember turning on Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, Florida. That's my last memory. And then I came to after the wreck. And I remember them wanting to get into the car to get to me. and they were telling me to unlock the door. And I can remember trying to. I had my left hand on the buttons, the control buttons to hit the switch. And I kept telling myself over and over, hit the button, click it, unlock it, unlock it. But it's like it's like the signals weren't connecting. Whatever's going on with me neurologically, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I knew something was wrong. But I finally was able to get the connection there, and I pressed the button, and the Pensacola officer came through and unbuckled me, and the ambulance people were able to get to me. Thank God I wasn't hurt and no one else was hurt. But then I find out that the person that ran into me, his witness that says that I ran the red light and I caused the accident, he's a pedophile priest or accused of either 2 or 3 allegations, and the Catholic diocese let him go. And they put him up in the ambulance with me. And he tells me, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. You know, I could have killed you. I'm sorry. You know, after they tell me it was my fault. And he's like, it's okay. I forgive you. I'm a priest. And I'm like, oh my God, you're a priest. And not that one life is more valuable than another. It's just like, wow, I could have killed a priest. You know, it's just, but that goes into my religious brainwashing upbringing. You know, don't dare say anything against a pastor, a priest. It's like they're up there with God. But then my husband went to work, and some friends of my husband that he works with, coworkers, told him, yeah, the guy that, you know, the person that your wife was in a car accident with, he's a pedophile. And we all know that the government uses confidential informants. I'm not saying that this person is. I'm just saying it's ironic that he would be right there with me, like in the caravan. Because it's like when I leave my house, I got my own caravan of people that leave right with me. They hear me in my home. Oh, she's going to Publix. Oh, she's going to Target. And you can hear them all getting in their cars and leaving. I hear the planes flying over, the helicopters flying over. I mean, this is just the craziest asinine shit ever. And then I just lose my train of thought of what else I was going to say. But it's just, I mean, I remember one time I was in the hospital and someone was drilling on the other side of the wall. And I was like, what are they doing? Are they sticking a camera in? Is it helping their listening devices? Like, what the hell's going on? And people would think, there's no way. There's no way. Government has all control. Yes way. Yes way. I have seen so much unprofessional crap with all of this, down to being stalked in the middle of the night and hunted down like an animal. No warrant, just trying to walk and get some exercise, and having cars follow me all over. Police, dogs barking, like chasing me, and drones above my head. And I'm like, oh my God, they're treating me like I am a fugitive and they have a warrant for me. I have looked above my head and there has been a drone so low that I have seen Department of Homeland Security. So for those of you that think it's just the rednecks involved, that it's just your local police, I assure you the government and the military is involved. I promise you that. I can remember being at the air show here in Pensacola, Florida, the Naval Air Station 2 years ago. And as we were going in onto the base, I was seeing vehicles that normally are in my caravan that follow me constantly, my regulars. And they were following me into the military base. And whenever I went, everyone's supposed to go straight to go park in the regular section, but this certain group of people, they turned and went left and parked in a whole different area of the military, on the military base. And I can remember watching the Blue Angels as they flew, and then the planes that are always up in the sky that are doing their chemtrails, whenever I'm on the highway driving or outside during the day, these planes are up so high. And I remember the Blue Angels, they were going up really, really high to do one of their stunts. I don't know how high. I don't know anything about aviation. But as they were doing their stunts, and you could barely see them, they were so high, but they were fixing to come back down and loop around and then do a drive-by, a flyby. I seen the jets way up above them. I'm talking so high, with their chemtrails, doing their surveillance. And I thought, my God, this is some black ops deep shit. And most people would think, aren't you scared? No, because I went through stuff as a child that, I guess if you hadn't been through it, if you weren't raised up in it, you would be scared to death. Are these people dangerous? Yes. Is there something off with them? Yes. Is there a spiritual aspect to this? Is it more than just physical? Yes. And I've not talked about this very much, but I'm going to explain. And I'm sorry I'm doing this to my nose. I'm not a perp. I know perps do that, but my nose is itching and I'm having sinus trouble because of the weapons that they're using against me. So if that's triggering anyone, I apologize for that. Because I know a lot of targeted individuals, that's a trigger. Because I've had perps do it around me, coughing, sneezing, rubbing their eyes or covering one of their eyes or making gestures and hand signals. But what I was fixing to talk about is I started praying real hard, because you get confused in all of this because they throw so much at you. You know what it is, but you try to tell yourself, it's not happening. It's not happening. Even my stepmom was telling my dad, there's UFOs out here. There's UFOs watching us. And my dad was so aggravated. He's like, there's no such thing as UFOs. I'm tired of hearing about UFOs. And I'm like, Mom, they're like military drones used for surveillance. That's what it is. And they're trying to scare you. Do I believe in UFOs? Yes. Do I believe in aliens? Yes, but they're not aliens. They're demonic. If you see an alien, plead the blood of Jesus, and I promise you, they will vanish. You won't have to worry about that no more. I believe in fallen angels. I believe in the book of Enoch. I believe in all of that. Just plead the blood of Jesus and you'll be okay. These beings are more scared of us because we're more powerful than them because of who we believe in. Jesus Christ. He has all power and authority. That was settled on the cross. But you get so confused because so much is thrown at you. And I was like, God, what all is going on? Please show me. I don't feel you. I'm so caught up in all my anger that I'm in fight mode. I'm in defense mode. I want to rip someone's head off because I see what's being done to my family. I see how it's been torn apart. I see how my children were lied to and turned against me. I see how my children were taken away from me over 20 years ago. I mean, I see it all. It's a program. So one day as I'm driving down, where was I driving? It was Scenic Highway. No, not Scenic. Yes, it was Scenic Highway. And my dad used to work at Westinghouse when I was a young girl. And right before I got to Westinghouse on the right, or what used to be Westinghouse, there was this white van coming towards me. And there was these two guys in it. And there was like a long string of vehicles, as they always have on the highway when I'm on. And the one way I can explain it is the way that you're going sometimes when it's just a 2-lane road, there won't be anyone going with you in that direction. But all the cars that are coming at you, they'll be like, you can look 5 miles ahead or 3 miles ahead, and as far as you can see, it's just an ungodly amount of traffic with their headlights on, or one headlight and not another headlight. I mean, it's just, you can tell. It's abnormal. But on this day, there was all these vehicles coming at me. But the one vehicle that, like, God, it's like the spiritual discernment. Like, God blocked their weapons, their technology, and God drew my attention to this one white van. And in this van were 2 men that were driving. Well, the one man was driving and the other was a passenger. But in this van were 2 men, and they looked like complete zombies. They looked like they were taken over by something, like they were demonically possessed. Like most people when they drive, I don't know, you drive like with one hand, you lean, you're loose. And these men were just like stonewalled, looking straight ahead, not blinking. It was so odd and eerie, and just, I seen spiritually, just, it was demonic. And as they passed, me being an empath or having spiritual discernment, I felt it. And I thought, my God, there are some people involved in this that are truly Satanists, that are truly mind controlled. Yes, they use mind control on us, but our souls, if you've accepted Jesus Christ into your heart, you're protected. It doesn't matter what kind of crap they try to throw at you. It doesn't matter if you get angry, if you cuss. God's not going to send you to hell for that. You got to remember, this is good versus evil. And we're calling out the evil. We're calling out the darkness. And it's okay to cuss. And it's okay to get mad. I don't think Jesus wanted us to curl up to a band of demons and talk sweet and nice to them. No, I don't believe that at all. And I'm not going to be one of these Christians that's going to be all quiet and submissive and just let you run all over me. I'm more of John the Baptist type. So you got the wrong one. Another time, I was going through the Walmart parking lot and there was another white van. No, this was a gray van. And it was a man driving and it was a woman in the passenger side. And once again, stonewalled, just staring just straight. I mean, most people are like looking here, looking there, turning their head. You just acting like normal people. But they were just like this. And it's just the energy. And most targeted individuals are empaths. We do have a spiritual ability to be able to read and identify. And it's not psychic abilities. It's your God-given gift of spiritual discernment. And when they passed me, I was like, oh, look at them. They're trying to front like they're a couple and they're not on surveillance, but you're evil and you're working for them. I mean, these are military people. These are military contractors. This isn't law enforcement. These weren't confidential informants. I knew exactly what they were. We have so many people that are involved in CIA shadow black ops operations. I started watching a program tonight on TV called The Report. And it's actually the torture report. It's on Amazon Prime. But where it says torture, they have that blacked out. So it's called just The Report. And it talks about the military tactics that were used at Gitmo. People that weren't even terrorists. They were just accused of terrorism. And the CIA goes through what they can use to possibly get information out of people. Waterboarding was one. Sleep deprivation. Enclosed casket, like mock burial, and use of insects, and loud music, and positions of like confining them into small spaces and harnessing their hands into positions that would cause horrific pain, like basically hog tying them. And you listen to these military psychologists, and instantly, I'm not the insane one. You're the crazy assholes that you would do this to another human being. I know terrorism is bad. I know there are horrible people out there that deserve prison. They deserve never to see light of day. But whenever you take your own hands to torture, you're no better than the animal that you have arrested or you're torturing. I mean, your mind really it's depraved, it's sick. And there's just, what separates us from them is we would never do such things. Never. I haven't finished the movie. It just, it blew my mind because it's like I was watching my own life on TV. They aren't physically waterboarding us. They aren't physically touching us. Sorry, I had to pause my video. My husband got out of bed. And anytime he hears anything about this, he goes ballistic and goes crazy. I'm not even free to speak about any of this in my household. But I didn't finish the movie. Like I was saying, it just, It just let me know that we have a bunch of sociopaths running our country. We're totally different than them. We're nothing like them. But yet we're the ones that they want to call terrorists, criminals, dangerous. And then I watched as members of the CIA defended this program. And this report has come out. This movie has come out. And whereas they're physically not doing this to us, they're remotely doing it. They're doing it with secret weapons and technology. That's going to be the next biggest report to come out. It's going to happen. Everything comes to light. The truth always comes out. Truth and good always prevails. And I just about imagine that these weapons were used and are being used in Gitmo. I just can't believe that our government has sunk so low. But this has always been. It was like so tightly under wraps. But they've gotten so brazen and so arrogant with their crimes that we have so many targeted individuals speaking out. There's no going back from this point. Even those that lose their life in this program, our stories are out there. I mean, they cause medical harm to us. The mass on my kidney, they cause that. I can't tell you the times that they have tortured and aimed their weapons at my kidneys. These weapons can instantly cause strokes, heart attacks, seizures. So much electromagnetic radiation that cancer, yes, they can cause cancer. They're playing God, and you're not my creator. So what in the hell do you think gives you the right to take a life from me? Don't you know that God's going to cut you down and you're going to have to answer for that? For all the lives that you're torturing, that you're murdering and taking. But these people are Luciferians. They think they are gods. They don't think that they're going to have to ever answer to God for their actions. Half of them think that they will never, ever go to prison for anything. They're untouchable. God's in control. I will not ever fear them. I don't even fear this bullshit made up charge. I don't. And as far as them taking my license away, I don't even care. Because they can use these weapons to knock you out, to cause car accidents. They can cause seizures. They can cause strokes remotely. And do you think that they give a shit about anyone else on the highway? No, they don't. All they're concerned about is torturing you, trying to mangle you and murder you. And if anyone else is involved, that's just collateral damage. They don't care. They torture children. They torture children. But that's a whole nother story. And I'm just not even going to get into that. There's been countless TI mamas, grandmamas that have talked about it. I went through it as a child. This is unreal. MK Ultra never ended. They just renamed it. And it's under this program. It's still continuing. Kathy O'Brien, look her up. Listen to her testimony. There's many others that have talked about these things. Everyone needs to wake up. We're all under surveillance. And to a certain point, we're all being tortured with this 5G technology, nanotechnology, smart dust, military directed energy weapons. We're just all at different levels in the program.